Welcome to HistoryFlix English. Okay, let's dive into this. Today's explainer is all about a topic that honestly, fundamentally rewrote the rules of human existence. We're looking at how a single, kind of clunky to be honest, piece of machinery completely changed human history. I'm talking, of course, about the steam engine. It's this wild story of problem-solving, brilliant little tweaks, and a massive domino effect of innovation that basically built the modern world we live in right now.
To really appreciate just how huge this was, we kind of have to imagine a world with zero trains, no mass-producing factories, and absolutely no powerful machines. Before steam power came along, most work was strictly limited by physical biology, right? It was done by human hands, by animals, or maybe by simple water mills. But for those, you had to be right next to a river. Travel was agonizingly slow, production was severely limited, and industries just struggled to grow. But then we hit the after-steam era. Suddenly, boom, we have powerful machines, booming factories, and rapid global transit. The entire pace of human life just accelerates.
Section 1. A world without machines. To actually find the origin of this world-changing tech, we have to rewind over 300 years. We're talking the late 17th century, and it all started with a highly localized, highly specific problem. How on earth do we get water out of deep coal mines? See, as societies needed more coal, miners had to dig deeper and deeper into the earth. But the deeper they dug, the more the shafts would just flood with groundwater. This threatened constant drownings and literally halted production. They desperately needed a mechanical solution to pump this water out, because human or animal power, that just wasn't cutting it anymore. So in the late 1600s, the search for a pumping solution was frankly frantic. By 1712, a guy named Thomas Newcomen actually successfully builds a steam-powered pump. But the truly pivotal turning point? That didn't actually arrive until decades later, in the 1760s, when James Watt introduces this absolutely crucial modification called the separate condenser.
Which brings us to Section 2, the early mine pumpers.
All right, so built in 1712, the Newcomen engine was a total game changer, a real revolutionary steam-powered machine. Its main job? To safely pump water out of those flooded coal mines we were just talking about. For the miners, this was literally a lifesaver. It made mining significantly safer and way more efficient than, hauling water up in buckets. But here's the catch. It was highly inefficient in how it used energy. It consumed a massive, almost completely impractical amount of fuel to generate that steam. In fact, it devoured so much coal that it was really only affordable to operate if you put it directly on top of a coal mine, where the fuel was basically free.
Section 3, Watt's brilliant improvement. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how Scottish engineer James Watt enters the picture. See, the Newcomen engine was just sitting there, doing its fuel-hungry job for years, until Watt decided to take a much closer look at it in the 1760s. And the crazy thing is, he didn't actually invent the steam engine from scratch. Instead, he just carefully studied Newcomen's existing design. He quickly realized, wow, this engine is wasting a tremendous amount of energy by constantly heating and cooling the exact same cylinder. So Watt makes one brilliant tweak. He introduces a separate condenser. This simple change allowed the main cylinder to just stay hot all the time. That single innovation made the engine exponentially more efficient. It completely transformed it from a clunky water pump into a highly practical, versatile power source.
And that kicks off Section 4, powering the Industrial Revolution.
Because a versatile power source was exactly what the world was waiting for, right? It created this massive ripple effect that just completely upended the world's economy. Step 1. Once these practical, efficient steam engines entered the factories, they completely untethered mills from riverbanks. They didn't need water power anymore, so they could be built literally anywhere. Step 2. This leads to vastly faster production in places like textile mills and ironworks. Step 3. Suddenly, there's a massive boom in job creation. And Step 4. To fill all those new jobs, rural populations migrate en masse to growing cities. It's just so fascinating to me. By trying to solve a flooded coal mine problem, we accidentally birthed modern urban expansion.
Just take a second to absorb the sheer scale of this change.
We forever replace the slow, physical limitations of human and animal muscle with the tireless, relentless power of steam. Factories powered by these engines could suddenly produce goods at speeds that were previously thought impossible. I mean, it completely transformed manufacturing industries overnight and permanently reshaped global economies. It was a total game changer.
Section 5. Shrinking the global map. Let's move to and see how this builds from the factory floors to the revolution in human travel.
Because, think about it, once you can power a massive factory, it really doesn't take long for inventors to realize, hey, we can put that same engine on wheels or on a boat. The resulting revolution in human travel was just staggering. Steam-powered trains began connecting distant cities and eventually entire countries, moving people and goods overland way faster than a galloping horse. Meanwhile, out on the water, steamships began crossing oceans far more efficiently. They were no longer entirely at the mercy of shifting winds. And because of this, international trade became incredibly easy and reliable. The steam engine literally broke the physical limits of geography.
To put that into perspective, before steam, traveling across a country or crossing an ocean took weeks, sometimes even months, with massive risks involved along the way. But with steam power, those exact same journeys were accomplished in a fraction of the time. The world suddenly felt much, much smaller, and these distant parts of the globe were brought incredibly close together for the first time in history. Which brings us to Section 6, the steam engine's legacy.
The impact of this technology reaches so far beyond just trains and textile mills. It really set the stage for the reality we live in right now. The steam engine accelerated scientific progress and encouraged widespread innovation across the board. It essentially proved, once and for all, that humanity could engineer its way past natural limitations, laying the ultimate foundation for so many modern technologies. Now, sure, it is true that our modern engines today run on electricity, diesel, and, other advanced tech, but it was the steam engine that first sped up global industrial growth and triggered this entire era of powerful civilization-building machines. Honestly, without it, the world we know today might have taken centuries longer to build.
So, what happens when one single invention changes everything? It's pretty incredible to look back and reflect on this journey. I mean, we started with water flooding a dark, deep coal mine, and we ended up with a globally connected world full of bustling cities, international trade, and absolute technological marvels.
The history of the steam engine reminds us of one really powerful truth. One brilliant improvement can change the world forever. James Watt's simple condenser didn't just fix a leaky pump, it literally powered the Industrial Revolution. It really makes you wonder, what might the next world-changing improvement look like in our own time? Could it be happening right now? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep that curiosity alive.